and welcome to your weekly messages. Today is Saturday, the 23rd of March, 2024. So we are coming into the last week of March, more or less. If you haven't already seen the messages for the month of March, I'll put a link in the description, video in the end screen. It was all about this being the beginning of your divine abundance. And I think that's it goes hand in hand with understanding that when you take a step towards your soul or your soul's desires, I want to say, when you take a step towards your soul's desires, a whole new path opens up for you. It's an abundant, loving, joyful path. And it is when you understand the quantum behind it, because of course, when you take a step towards your soul's desires and your soul's needs and you nurture your soul, obviously that's all on a frequency level. That's an act of self-love that will raise your frequency. And obviously when you raise your frequency, you create a more loving environment for yourself. But it's not just that, it's that you're putting your attention, your resources, your love, you're putting all of it on the direction that you want to go in. And it's almost like just saying, even if you do, just say with an affirmation, I am ready and willing to step into my power. I am ready and willing to be sovereign. I'm ready and willing to raise my frequency. I mean, whatever you want, but if you're just saying ready and willing, you're giving whoever, whatever in the higher realms, it's all parts of you, right? The higher parts of you, you're giving them permission to give you the synchronicities and to give you the people that you need, to give you the resources that you need, to give you the next step, the inspiration. Everything that you need will come to you. Ask and you shall receive. But we do have to ask. It's kind of true, isn't it? So just putting that into practice can feel a little bit weird in the beginning. But that's how it all happens on an energy level. That's how you get the energetic ball rolling. So check out the monthly ones if you haven't already done so. And for those of you that are new, welcome to my channel. My name is Deborah Jane Sutton, and you can find out more about me and the things that I do from my website at deborahjanesutton.com, on Facebook, Deborah Jane Sutton, and of course, most of all, from this channel. So please have a good browse around. Because there is so much on this channel, not just my weekly and monthly card readings. I have a whole series in Lessons in Awakening. So please have a look. I mean, I always suggest that you go through them in order, but most people don't. But that's okay. So just read the titles and go with whichever one you resonate with the most, because of course we know that when you're ready and willing, the right things, whatever it is, the right information comes to you. So if you're needing any of the Lessons in Awakening, then the right one will jump out at you. So have a little browse through that. And if you are into raising your frequency, just to let you know that my first book is called Heal Yourself to Happiness, and it's free to download in PDF form from my website, deborahjanesutton.com, which is in the description. And also the paper, because a lot of people obviously want the real book, the paperback. It is available on Amazon at cost price, so I can't make that any cheaper. That's my gift. That's my gift to the world. And of course, you can check out my second book, Heal Your Soul, which is also available on Amazon, and the link is in the description. But on my channel, check out the section in self-healing techniques, because I cover the emotion code, I cover brain integration activities, I cover emotional freedom technique, I cover loads of different ways that you can raise your frequency. And there is a guided meditation there. There's breath work. there are so many different things, and not everybody's going to resonate with everything, of course, but I do believe there is something for everyone. So have a good browse around. There's also a whole section on self-mastery with Liz Nagel. So she's my good friend and mentor. So when I have a difficult question, I ask her, and we love discussing these things. And I have another section of interviews and chats that I've done with some lovely and amazing people. There's Amy Bird and her astrology. There's Mark Atwood as well with all of his truth bombs. And there's Holly. I've got lots of other ones as well on there with some of my friends from America, the masters from Sarah Landon's masters class. So there's loads of interesting chats as well. So yeah, please have a good browse around the channel because it's full of free content to help you raise your frequency, understand the power and importance of who you really are, and the ease at which we can heal ourselves, and expand into higher levels of consciousness when we know how. Okay, let's have a look. Any messages? Oh, thank you. Any more messages coming up? So let's just take a nice deep inhalation. Feel the rib cage expanding, 360 degrees. That's one of my, I remembered it. I learned it in yoga, but then I forgot about it. So when we're inhaling, we want to make sure that we're not just inhaling in the front of our rib cage. We want to feel the rib cage expanding forwards, back, and sides. And so it's like a 360 around the heart. That's how I look at it. So as I inhale, I visualize my heart expanding, and then you can feel your rib cage expanding all the way around. And it's a beautiful way to remember, I think, to stay in the now moment. Because of course, if you're only breathing into the front, you're living very much in the future, and then you're not in the now moment. And so to help us focus on the beauty and the timelessness of the now moment, it's good to close your eyes, and as you inhale, feel your heart expanding. Obviously, your lungs are expanding, but feel the rib cage expanding all the way around, equally forwards and back, and to both sides. So that really helps you feel in this space of now, in the time and space of now. It's kind of really a beautiful way to bring yourself back into the now moment. So give it a go. If it resonates, and if it doesn't, don't worry about it. Okay. Definitely, that's it. I was just looking if there was any more. We've got 3 cards. Let's have a look. Okay, wow, they're all swords. This is going to be interesting. We have the 9 of Swords. This is very much about anxiety, very much about not being able to sleep. That could be because you have a busy head, so you're not in the now moment. So you might want to practice that breathing that I've literally just mentioned. You might want to practice that as you're going to sleep, to bring you into the now moment, because this is very much about restlessness and not being able to sleep and having worry, usually about the future, or it could be regret about the past. But either way, he's not in the now moment, is he? Because if you look at him, he's totally safe, isn't he? He's safe and protected, but he's just not feeling it. So it is about feeling. This can also be astral traveling. Yeah, a lot of people might be astral traveling. When you look at it from a quantum perspective and you understand that you're a multidimensional being, if that phrase is new for you, I'll put a link in the description, video in the end screen, to the first of the lessons in awakening, which is called Understanding Yourself as a Multidimensional Being. But those people that are understanding themselves as a multidimensional being will understand that dreams are actually reality, but in another dimension. Now, it can be quite scary, especially if you've had bad dreams or your nightmares or something. But it's actually another dimension. It's existing in another dimension, and in your sleep state, your consciousness is traveling to other dimensions. So, I mean, it's nothing to be afraid of. It's nothing's going to hurt you in this dimension, in this lifetime that you're focusing on. So it could be astral traveling, and it could be worry and anxiety about things going on, stressing. It could be stress from working too much, but swords is typically mental processes. It's the air element, which symbolizes mental processes. So it's more about mental stress rather than like hard work, tiredness from physical hard work. It's very much about mental. So it is about calming down your thoughts. So I will also put a link in the description to Lesson in Awakening number 15, which is how to detach from your thoughts. How to detach from your thoughts. Definitely relevant this week. The Four of Swords, this is all about retreating, relaxing, and resting. Retreating, relaxing, and resting. And it's interesting that this has come up because for whatever reason, right? And I know the universe always creates what I need. My week is kind of freed up. I had a busy week planned in the diary, and then due to cancellations and other things going on, it seems to have freed up a little bit. And I think that might be something that we all need to do, because this card is about resting, relaxing, and retreating, and taking time out for you. It doesn't have to be like sleeping all the time. You know what they say, a change is as good as a rest. That's what I want to say. A change is as good as a rest. So it might be just going for a stroll, maybe just going for a coffee with a friend, something that's relaxing, going to an art gallery, yeah, going to a new yoga class, anything like that, which is, joy orientated, anything that's going to raise your frequency, anything that's going to be a little bit different from your usual routine, but something that's, yeah, something relaxing. It's retreating. Give you an opportunity to retreat from your usual day-to-day grind, I want to say, and just to give yourself, go and swim in the font or whatever. Take your dog for a different walk, climb up a different mountain. I don't know. But it's about resting the mind. Remember, swords is more about the mind. That's why I'm saying a change is as good as a rest, because often when we feel tired, even if we're feeling physically tired, and then we think, oh, I've got to sleep, I've got to sleep. I think that's what's going on. Yes, it's come on the heels of this. So very often when we're tired, we think, I need more sleep. I need to rest more. And then maybe we get stressed because we can't sleep. But actually, I think what the message is coming through is that it's not sleep as much that we need as just a change in routine. A change is as good as a rest. Oh, that's definitely the message for this week. This is what you want to change from. And this card is saying to rest and relax and retreat, to rejuvenate, spend some time on self-care, loving yourself, just a little bit more time, your you time. It's not a solitude card. I mean, he is in solitude as well. I mean, it is important in your solitude, but what I'm saying is the change is as good as a rest, can be just doing something different with your nearest and dearest or with whoever. But it's beautiful, isn't it? We do have the Three of Swords as well, which is a little bit of heartache going on. Now, obviously, there is stuff going on in the collective, and there's going to be stuff going on in our realities, and there will be grief coming up to process. I mean, that's all part of the course. Grief and love, actually, love, better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. I think that's a relevant one as well. It's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. So there are, we might be losing people, whether it be them passing on, transitioning, or whether it be we're drifting from them, or it might not be people. It could be, leaving a job, or just leaving a place that you've lived in for a long time. So there is grief. And there's even grief sometimes comes up when you are releasing parts of your identity. Maybe you've been really attached to a part of your programming. Maybe you've been attached to a part of your identity that actually isn't the real you. Does that make sense? It's not the soul you. And maybe it's an identity that you've created out of your programming. And now you're realizing that that isn't who you are. So there might be a little bit of a grief attached to that. So this grief can be on many different levels and in many different areas. And also, this is my forgiveness card. So this is also about processing grief from the past. Definitely, it's about processing grief. And maybe that's why we're being asked to take time out this week and to experience a change, to bring some change into our week, to give us that rest, just the rest from the hectic, mental stress of everyday life. Because maybe when we give ourselves that rest, the grief will have a chance to come up. Yeah, I think that's very relevant. The more that we explore who we really are, whether we're just doing some inner reflection or whether we're looking at our birth chart, soul profile, or the gene keys, which Liz and I are getting very into the gene keys. And I was looking at one of mine recently, and it was really resonating with me. And because it resonated with me so much, I am sure that that was what instigated a release that I had about some grief from my childhood that came up for processing. And so I think it works like that. I don't think, at first hand, if you asked any tarot card reader, they'd probably say, "Oh, these cards don't look great." But it depends how you interpret it. It depends how you navigate your life and how you navigate the world, and from what level of consciousness you want to look at it all from. Because, a life of bliss is going to get really quite boring, isn't it? So we need to be able to navigate the highs and lows, and to process them. And what we're being given now in this great awakening is the opportunity to look back at past events with new eyes. Behold, I make all things new. Oh, the other one I love from Paul Selig that says, the fabric of life can be altered because the fabric of life can be re-seen. And when you take time out like this, you can get to see the grief from your past with fresh eyes. You can see it in a different way. And then you can really understand that, that it wasn't so bad, that it was your higher self, or your ego creating it. And, it's not, everything's an opportunity, isn't it, for growth? We don't need to dwell on it. We don't need to keep ourselves in victim mode for these things. If we think that we had a bad experience and it happened to us, we're literally giving our power away and putting ourselves in victim mode and taking ourselves out of control of our own creations. This is all about self-realization, and evolution is all about self-mastery, so that we can learn to master our thinking, master our emotions, and to process the emotions. And that means seeing them in a different way, re-seeing people and events, but with fresh eyes, with eyes of love, not eyes of resentment, with eyes of gratitude, not eyes of bitterness. It's like, that's forgiveness, right? I will put a link in the description as well I'll put the two in, number 11, understanding triggers, and number 12, the path to forgiveness, because I think it's all quite relevant. I would put my guided meditation in as well. I said before in a couple of weeks ago, it was in a video a couple of weeks ago, apparently YouTube is putting ads in my videos, and it's got nothing to do with me. They're very annoying, I know, so I can only apologize, but there's nothing I can do about it. But somebody did say that they're putting ads in my guided meditation as well, which is really annoying. But then other people have said that they didn't experience ads through it. So I'll put a link into it. If you experience ads, I'm sorry, go back onto YouTube and find another inner child healing, because there's loads on there. I just have the one. But give it a go, because some people are not being bothered by the ads. I don't know how all of that works, but it does have nothing to do with me. But anyway, this is about, yeah, forgiving and seeing our past. It's like looking at seeing the silver lining, always seeing the silver lining, seeing the blessings in disguise. It's about find the blessing that was well disguised in whatever this heartache or this grief was. So seeing the blessing and seeing it all from a soul level, understanding that as a soul, you chose this experience, you chose to co-create with other people, you chose the good stuff and the bad stuff. We create our own adversity. Adversity is like a springboard to enlightenment. When you have a load of adversity, you go down, 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 down. But I think rock bottom isn't really made of a rock. I think rock bottom is actually made of a trampoline, because once you hit rock bottom, you just come back up and see everything with new, fresh eyes. And you often realize if that bad event hadn't happened, you wouldn't have learned this, or you wouldn't be this strong, you wouldn't have met this person, you wouldn't have gone to this place. And then you look at it all and you say, oh, it's so perfectly orchestrated, isn't it? It's just you, your higher self, and the universe just guiding you to where you're meant to be. And just some of that guidance might cause a few hiccups along the way. And if you can view it like that, then you're navigating life beautifully, aren't you? And you can keep the love and gratitude in your heart at all times. Without forgetting, yeah, there might be some tears. You can have a good cry, let it out. We're not pretending that they're not there. We're certainly not pushing emotions down. We're certainly not suppressing anything. It will just make us sick, right? So when they come up, we are feeling them. We can talk about them. It's okay. That's all part of the process, isn't it? But yeah, it is about acknowledging it all and looking at it. Looking at it, it's like, why am I experiencing this? What have I got to learn? And it will be something there. If you have a little bit of self-reflection, there'll be something there. There'll be a little lesson for you. And you can have a little cry if you need to, or just have a little meditation, have a little walk in nature to feel those emotions, to honor them, to understand them, feeling it, remember? Own it, feel it, heal it. That was a recent one, wasn't it? Own it, feel it, heal it. But I do think the main message for this week is a change is as good as a rest. So welcome the change, find something new to do, something relaxing, something resting, something that you can retreat from your usual routine, just something different, maybe with someone different or what have you, doing something different this week. Beautiful. A change is as good as a rest. Enjoy your rest, enjoy the change, enjoy the week. I love you all. Have a fantastic time, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.